There's one more I want to get into, a different quarterback in a different situation, and that's Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. We all know Mendoza is going to go number one, but I feel like there is some momentum moving behind this young man. So, Lewis, if I said Ty Simpson is going to get drafted in the top 15 of the first round this year, is that ridiculous?
No, I don't think that's ridiculous at all. I think when you look at his tape this year and you consider all the factors, not just looking at his individual performance, but when you take in the level of health that he had throughout the course of the season, what he was battling, what was surrounding him in terms of offensive line play, the efficiency of the run game, the consistency of the wide receivers, and then you take all that into consideration and really break down his play from start to finish, from week one until the time that they got knocked out against Indiana. You look at this kid and you go, hey, man, this is someone who I think we're going to have to go ahead and pay a little bit of a higher price for him if we want to secure his services than maybe that we thought. And it's going to be justified, I believe, when he throws out here at this combine. You're going to see just how talented of a thrower he is. And I'm sure in the interviews, he is absolutely killing it.
Well, I can right now play you one of those interviews. Ty Simpson stopped with our Laura Rutledge literally just moments ago to talk about throwing at the combine. Here's what he said.
Ty, what was the thought behind coming here to the combine and deciding to throw and put your talents on display?
Yeah, right. Like, I grew up watching the combine, so watching guys throw, it was a dream come true to be able to, one, get invited, and two, I was like, why not, right? Like, I love to throw the football, and if I had a chance to, if I was healthy enough, like, I definitely was. So, being able to come out here and wanting to throw against good, quarterbacks and to good players, like, why not? Like, I'm a quarterback. I love to throw. If we, wanted to throw in the parking lot, I would. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait for the opportunity.
Again, that was just moments ago. Let me get a quick take from Mike T, because we heard what Lewis thinks as an evaluator. Is Ty Simpson worthy of being, a first half of the first round kind of pick?
Absolutely. He had a better year than people realize, and Dan Orlovsky started that conversation yesterday. Look, Mendoza is clearly the first pick, but he wound up talking about Ty Simpson, 28 touchdowns, only 5 picks, and as Lou just alluded to, they ran out of steam as a team, offensive line, running back, and certainly what happened against Indiana to me was aberrational. But we've talked so much about this being a one-quarterback draft class. I see it differently. I think there's a precipitous difference between number 2 and whoever number 3 is going to be. So if you're the Rams, if you're the Jets, I do think someone trades up for Ty Simpson. And I'll say this, going back to Justin Herbert working out here, teams will give Ty Simpson credit for working out with receivers that he doesn't know well. I expect him to throw the ball extremely well, but even if he doesn't, he's going to get credit for being the competitor that he just talked about.
Only a one-year starter. That's one of the things that people will question, the number of starts. Even though he's an older player and he's been there a long time, he was only a starter 1 year. Dan Graziano, quickly, as you're there, are you hearing the same thing that I feel like I'm sensing from a distance, and that is that his stock is beginning to rise?
Yeah, quarterback evaluation always so subjective. So it's really about which teams feel like it's worth doing that in the first round. I haven't heard anything to indicate that the Jets at 2 or the Cardinals at 3 are getting interest in that pick. But, we're a ways away from the draft. Right now, a lot of the buzz is who should be the second quarterback taken. Simpson seems to be impressing people here this week.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on that as we go. Quickly, Pickens likely to receive the franchise tag by Tuesday's deadline. Could skip the offseason program, potentially training camp. Yesterday, head coach Brian Schottenheimer asked about what could be a looming standoff.
Yeah, again, this is going to play out the way it's supposed to play out. GP loves football, and my relationship with GP doesn't change, just like it didn't change with CD or Dak or those guys that were going through certain things, and it's all part of the process. It's the business side of it, but hell, I was talking to CD last night, and so, it doesn't change.
It isn't the coach's problem, but it is a problem, and we'll see where it goes. It becomes his problem if it winds up like Micah Parsons did a year ago. And Mike Tannenbaum, you are not confident that this thing gets done without a whole bunch of drama.
That's exactly right. A year ago, Micah Parsons was easy. Make him the highest paid pass rusher, Greeny. We saw how that ended. In this situation, there is going to be a disparate point of view. The team is going to say, we have CD Lamb, our number 1 receiver, and you're a great number 2, and that's about $28.7 million. George Pickens is going to say, did you watch the season last year? I'm a number 1 wide receiver. If you don't think so, let me go to the market, and I'll prove it to you. There'll be about a $12 million per year difference between the two sides. And I feel bad for our friend Brian Schottenheimer, who knows all too well what it's like to deal with contract issues at the Cowboys and other places. I think there's zero chance he's in the offseason program, and I think there's zero chance we see George Pickens before Labor Day.
Yeah, before Labor Day. Okay, we'll see that Labor Day is an awful long way up. But Lewis, you're nodding your head. You see it that way as well?
True.
I absolutely do. Look, I mean, they're going to franchise him, right? But they don't want to have him on the franchise tag, $29 million cap hit for this year. They don't want that. But look, they're in a tough spot. George has got a very strong case, as Mike is laying out. He's going to want his 35, 36, 38 million per year, and he has a right to want it. I don't know how Dallas, quite honestly, really rectifies this situation. I really don't. I mean, this is the kind of the price of doing business. When you have two guys like CD and George who are top flight guys, you're going to have to make some hard choices, man. You just are. You can't have all of them. You can't have all the good players. I mean, you can sign them if you want. You're just going to have to take some losses other places. You just aren't. Your team's going to be all out of whack, and it's going to be unbalanced from a cap allocation standpoint. So, yeah, this is going to be fun to watch for us, not for them.
Not for Brian Schottenheimer. So to go back to Mike's point, Graziano, what are you hearing there?
Yeah, they'll franchise him. I think they'll be open to talking about a long-term deal, but I don't think it's priority number one for them. I think they feel like he's coming off a great year. He obviously came to them with some questions about, some things that had gone on in Pittsburgh, and I think they wouldn't mind seeing it again before deciding to commit long-term. So they'll franchise him, and it's really going to be up to him after that. There's nothing that requires him to sit out the offseason program or make an issue of this to the extent that Micah Parsons did last year. He could say to himself, look, the franchise tag sucks, but this is the life we've chosen. This is the system we operate under, so I'll just do it again and show them and make more money next offseason. We have seen players in this situation handle it that way and have success. So they'll franchise him, and then what comes next, I think the next chapter in the story is pretty much up to him.
Exactly right. And just to sort of put a finishing touch on it, Mike T., you and I were talking this morning before the show. Their priorities, certainly when it comes to the draft and elsewhere, clearly should be on one side of the ball.
Yes, absolutely. It's defense, defense, and defense. And right now, and they can redo these deals, but Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are about $112 million in terms of cap number combined. Now you layer on, as Lewis mentioned, another 28 or 29 million. That's three players pushing 150, and you got to go get a pass rusher, a linebacker, and at least one more corner if you want to compete meaningfully in the NFC.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on all of that.
deals are built to be restructured for that relief. They'll do that.
They're going to have to get those done.
Kick it down the road. Kick it down the road.
It just keeps going up. It'll keep going up.